rising ready for the fight. From the court to the field, they shine so bold. With every move, the stories unfold. We're cheering on the youth from the start to the win. Giving them the mic, let their voices begin. Interviews and highlights, we got it all. GN Sports Show, where the young stand tall. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the 7th episode of Season 2 of the GN Sports Show. My name is Jonathan Thorogood, the Administrative Assistant at GN Sports Global. Along with me is Mr. Jason Cordis, the President of the GNFC Parents Association, the CGPGA, and we are your hosts of the GN Sports Show.
This week we have two of the under-15 Gen X Rebels superstars. We have Five Islands FC head coach with two of his superstars. We have Dr. Rick, we love Dr. Rick, you know that. You know what I mean? Don't go anywhere. We always have a packed lineup. You can't miss it. Get something to drink, but get back on that chair. We'll be right back.
Our vision is to become the premier platform for showcasing and empowering young student athletes, providing them with the tools and exposure to excel both in sports and life, while shaping the next generation of confident, media-savvy leaders. The GN Sports Show is dedicated to highlighting the talent and stories of young student athletes across all sports disciplines. We aim to equip them with vital media exposure and public speaking skills, helping them grow into confident individuals both on and off the field. Through engaging interviews, mentorship, and real-world media experiences, we strive to foster personal and professional development that supports their athletic journeys.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show, guys. As mentioned before, we have two of the top under-15 Gen X Rebels superstars with us. We have Jaden Spencer, we have Sadiq Williams, and they're going to tell us all about their likes, their dislikes, what they hope to do in the future, and how they contribute to the sport of football. And, just to get to know these youth men here, and everything that they could bring forth to us in GN Sports Show and to Antigua Sports. So, guys, welcome to GN Sports Show.
Welcome, guys.
Thanks, thank you.
So before we start off, just a general question to ask both of you. We just like for you to say a little bit about what yourself so that the viewers know exactly who Jaden and Sadiq is. So, Jaden, if you can start, just give us a little description about yourself.
Well, my name is Jaden Spencer. I attend the School of Baptist Academy. I'm 14 years old, and when I grow up, I aspire to be a professional footballer.
Okay, very good. Sadiq?
I'm 14 years old. I like to play football, and I do track and field, and I attend the St. Joseph's Academy.
Okay. Academy, okay.
Who, you say you want to be a professional footballer? You have a favorite team?
Manu.
Man, you.
Like that answer. And you have a favorite player?
Not really.
No favorite player at all.
What about you, Sadiq?
Barca.
Barcelona.
Who's your favorite player?
Messi.
Oh, God.
We could expect that one. We expected that one.
So who got you into football, Sadiq?
My parents, when I was like 6 years old, I attended the Vale Lions Club. And then I joined Gen X in 2020. I just continued to play.
Okay.
What about you, Spencer?
My daddy, when I was like 10 years old, I used to play for soccer academy. And then in 2021, I got moved to Generation X, and I just continued playing here.
So you've always liked soccer? You always liked football?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what position do you play?
Striker.
And what about you, Sadiq?
Defense and midfield.
So you transition between both?
Yeah, switch.
What is your favorite position though between them both?
Midfield. CDM.
Because midfield, you get to, as we had the girls on the last episode, and Kavita, she plays midfield, and as she said, she likes the midfield because she can get to be an offensive and defensive in that same position, because you can get to push up and then you can get to fall back and stuff like that. So it's a kind of dominating position, you know what I mean, that I would assume is a very responsible position as well. Striker too, you know what I mean, because you have to receive all those balls coming from in the back and use it to do something, you know what I mean, So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Of course. So we spoke a little bit about the football. We're going to the school aspect of it now. So you said what school you attend?
Baptist Academy.
Baptist Academy. And what's your favorite subject?
I'll say English.
English?
Yeah.
What about you, Sadiq?
I attend St. Joseph's Academy, and I have two favorite subjects: integrated science and PE.
Excellent.
And who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Benjamin, the integrated science teacher.
Hey, Miss Benjamin. What about you, Jaden?
Miss Watkins, the social studies teacher.
Social studies.
But so Miss Watkins is the social studies teacher, is your favorite teacher, but you don't like social studies?
I like social studies, just not my favorite
Is that your
subject.
favorite
Favorite
subject? Touche, you get me there.
So, you both had said a little bit about what your plans were for the future. I think you said you wanted to do professional football, Spencer, and Sadiq, you said the same thing as well, right?
Yeah.
So if that doesn't happen, what would be plan B?
To be like a chef and open my own restaurants and stuff like that.
Okay, so I want to be a chef. And what about you, Sadiq?
A mechanical engineer or a pilot.
How do you guys manage to balance between schoolwork and training, for football and for track as well? Because right now we're going into Carifta and stuff like that, so you're going to be very busy with that. How do you guys balance doing these extracurricular activities and keeping your academics on par?
I prioritize the schoolwork first, and then I have like set days for football and track. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all about the time management.
Yeah.
What about you?
Like
Jaden?
Sadiq said, prioritize the schoolwork first and then the sports come after.
Well, guys, we want to thank you guys for being here, Thanks for enlightening us with who you are and the things that you want to do and want to become. Is there anything you want to say before you leave? Like, is there anything you want to say to any of your friends or anybody who's been watching, or anything to encourage other people to come on to playing football or stuff like that?
For the people that wants to play football, just do it. There's nothing to be scared about. You cannot be afraid of the people that's bigger than you when you're playing against all the age levels. That's the only way you're going to get better at it.
Good. That's a good thing. What about you, Sadiq? That's you right there.
For the young footballers, just keep on practicing, and eventually you can make it big.
Like Sadiq.
Of course.
Well, thank you guys. And as they say, don't be afraid to pursue what you want to pursue. No matter if you're small and people are bigger, do you. And that's what we have for you here today.
Yeah.
So hold on, we'll be right back with more GN Sports Show.
Welcome to the ACB Caribbean Youth Football League wrap-up. The league is also sponsored by Milo, AS Brydens and Sons, Citizenship by Investment Unit. These are the point standings for the most recent matches. And welcome back, viewers. As promised before we went on the commercial break, we have two of the under 11 Five Islands players, Shamani Abrams and Tarike Spencer. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So to start it off, we're just going to ask you to give a little description of who you are, Tarike.
So I'm Tarike Spencer. I attend Seventh-day Adventist Primary School, and my favorite sport is football.
And how old are
And
you?
I'm 10 years old.
10 years old, okay.
My name is Shamani Abrams. I attend to Grace Christian Academy. My favorite sport is football, while my favorite player is Cristiano Ronaldo. I also
Wait, your favorite player is who?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Say it for Puerto Rico. Who's your favorite player?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
My
What about who's your favorite player?
Messi.
Whatever.
Oh,
forget
gosh.
it. Cristiano Ronaldo, guys. So what else? Tell me about, what is your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is maths.
Maths? You want to count all the money you make from football contract? When they get a big contract, you want to count all the money yourself. That's why I like maths. All right, what about you, Shamani?
My favorite subject is actually spelling and social studies.
Spelling and
So
social
you're gonna
excellent.
do up all the contracts that both you all gonna get, and he go count all the money for all you.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna go on.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite teacher?
Yes, Miss Parker, my social studies teacher.
You're good in social studies?
I would say yes.
Miss Parker, he looking for a good grade now. He looking for a good grade. What about you, Shamani? Your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher would be Teacher Juan. My grade 3 teacher.
You great. What they teach? Everything. She
Yeah.
teach everything.
Subject.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. So both of you guys play football. You play for Five Islands. You both in the under 11 team.
Yes.
Who initially got you into playing football?
My parents.
Your parents? At what age you started playing?
I think it was about 5.
5, so from a young son.
So did you tell your parents, Mommy, Daddy, I want to play football, or you were outside kicking ball all the time, and they said, I gotta take you to play football, you know? Or
I
they
told
came and
them.
say, listen, you go and play football.
There was a team, and my mom heard about it, and she said she would send me up.
She said, my son could score all the goal in that team. I sending him. That's what she said. Oh, okay. What about you? Who got you involved in football?
Well, I involved myself because I was always obsessed with
He's a big
football.
man.
Okay.
I involved myself in football. This is the first time we had a young person and we asked them, and it wasn't anybody. He is determined already to be a footballer. She's like, I involved myself in the football. Very good. I applaud you for
Yes, of
you
course.
being inside. So go ahead.
Well, when I involved myself, I was just outside kicking ball. My parents was telling me to do more tracks and basketball, but I was more into football.
I like that. So the constant ball banging on the wall. You might say, you know what, we got to send this boy football ball. Oh gosh, every day he kicking ball on the wall. But that's very good. It's admirable
Very
that
good.
you know what you wanted. And this was
Yes.
how old? From what age you were?
That was around 5 to 6 years old.
5 to
Wow.
6 years old.
Excellent work, Shamani.
Use that same attitude now to elevate in other things and other things. What you want to do when you're grown up, right? Not as old as me, but like before me. What you want to be when you grow up?
When I grew up, I want to be a professional footballer.
Of course. Of course. And what about you, Tariq?
Same thing, a professional footballer.
Right.
Of course.
And if that doesn't work out, what would the plan be?
Just stick around, find the next job, and just work my life.
Work your life?
But you have any type of job that you like other than a footballer? Is there any kind of job you want to be? Pilot, doctor, lawyer, police, fireman, like anything that
Pilot?
You like to stick with the big money?
The big money.
What about you? What about you? What do you want to be?
I would want to be either police or a lawyer.
Now, let me tell you all something, right? We've learned this doing it every week. You have to make sure that your academics is in line and on par with your after school and your football and stuff like that. The reason being, you see, John just asked you if football doesn't happen, because the problem is sometimes even if football is a contact sport, right? And you could injure yourself and you may not be able to play. Hopefully that never happens. But at least if your education is going and you don't, like, you damage yourself, you can still stay in football. You could be a presenter, you could be a physio, you could be, anything that dealing with football, referee, and like all these different things.
Yep.
If you know you're not gonna have a professional playing career, you could still have a very lucrative career in the field of football. So it's important to keep your studies up. All right?
Yes.
So don't feel, Mommy, I can't do my homework, I have to go practice. No. Do your homework first before you go and do practice.
And
Of
I
course.
don't
I'm watching you,
Good
you
boy.
feel smart now. You know you do your homework, that's what you say? Okay.
Good boy.
All right, I got to check back on you with that. All right, so you all have to focus and get that done.
So both of you on the 11, your coach is Ubercha. Who
Yes.
coaches you? How often do you train? How many days a week do you guys train?
We train 2 days a week.
Yeah.
2 days a week, and what days are those?
Wednesdays and
Wednesday
Thursdays.
and Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday, from what time to what time?
From 5:30 to 6:30.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you guys do outside of school and football? Do you have any other extracurricular activities that you do?
Yes, I do track outside of football.
Track. Okay. And what about you?
I don't have any more.
You don't have
Nothing,
any more.
just
All
football.
you just do is stay and wonder why I can't have 4 days a week in training. Right? It's like, coach, they only give you 2 days, I want 4 days. That's what you're saying. But it's good, man. It's good meeting you guys.
Yes, of course. We really appreciate you guys coming on the show. Keep pushing hard. I think y'all have a tournament coming up this weekend, right? That y'all are going to be playing in?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, push hard, and we wish you guys the best, right?
Yes.
Thanks again for coming on the show. We'll be right back. GN Sports Show.
And guys, as mentioned before, the Five Island FC, we just had the two superstars, and now we have the man behind them, the man behind the grassroots of the Five Islands FC. We have Coach Burchell Andrews. Everybody know him, Sawasi. Sawasi, welcome to GN Sports Show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. So to start off, Sawasi, what inspired you to pursue a career in coaching, and how has your journey evolved since you started in 2019?
Actually, I returned from America 2014. I went to watch a match, Wilkes versus InspAyre, and I saw a lot of this organization, and I told myself I'm gonna jump in and try to help the community. And so I decided I was gonna go into coaching. So I started there about late 2014 into 2015. Then I started doing the different coaches license. First D and then C, and then I decided to go in full time.
So how do you approach player development, Burchell? Sawasi, how do you approach player development in the grassroots and at a club level?
Okay, for what I do, I use a lot of the materials from my coaching, like how to, like session planning and that sort of thing. So what you find is that when you're working with the kids, you have a different way of working, and as you work with as adults, you go into more detailed stuff where you have match planning, we have the psychology of the game, the technology, the techniques, and the tactics, and the psychology of the game.
So do you find, what strategies you find more effective, the most effective?
Well, as I said, I have different strategies based on who I'm playing with. So if I'm playing a team that plays a lot of short passes, you find then I will go to a strategy where I may implement the long ball and stuff like that. But for kids now, it's a little different because the IQ is not as big. Hence, you have to be a little more disciplined with them and have them play the best way they can play. For me, with the kids, it's just to enjoy themselves. And as they enjoy, they also develop. Yeah,
that is key. That's a very good one, Sawasi.
Thanks.
So, Sawasi, you told us earlier you had attained both your CONCACAF D and C certifications. How has this training influenced your coaching style and philosophy?
Very in-depth. Actually, every time I go to a session, I do session planning. So I have like an objective, I have a theme, so I work towards that. For example, I start with a warm-up, then I introduce a little game, then at the end I go back to the technique what I use, and I do maybe what you call small-sided game to bring it out, and then we end with just a little play.
Is that something that you've learned through your years, or is that something you learned while pursuing your D license and C license stuff? Is that something that they taught you there, or that's something that you brought in on your own?
All credit to the FA, because they're the ones who actually asked me to come and join, and it's definitely from their courses where I learned these things. As I said, I wasn't coaching before 2014, and after I started, I decided, look, man, they were offering it, and I was with Wilkes at the time, and I was asked to come by, and I really enjoyed going to both sessions, where I met a lot of coaches also who are still my friends up to this day. If I have a problem, I can call on them and that sort of thing.
Well, I just to interject, I appreciate what you said. We've had a lot of coaches here, and I don't think I've heard them say that, but I think it's important. We at Gen X, we send every year players and coaches to the UK to trials and experience the trials in these schools and clubs. And it's important for them. One of the main reasons is to see how the coaches coach, see what they do, see these strategies. It's not, you come, let me go and do 2 drills and then start a game. No, but it's a whole science. There's a science behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think coaches who are looking out there, you have to get into that. You have to get into that science. When you go and you do your D license and so forth, as Sawasi said, use what ABFA taught you. All right, there's a process, and we need to see the process. We need to come out, you do some fitness, endurance, and then you do some drills, then you play a little game, and then you go back to it. It's a process, so we need the process to to unfold.
True. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your strategic planning with the adaptability when leading a team through a competitive season, let's say?
As I said, I am actually with kids at the moment.
Yes.
So it's going to be different. But when I'm playing a match, I always look for faults and work on them. For example, if I think that our formation is not up to par, I may switch. And I also balance that by getting information from my assistants.
Of course.
So that we have a better understanding of exactly where we want to go.
Right.
So let me ask you, in your years of coaching, you've come from Willie Keys and now you're at Five Islands FC. Is there any success stories from either a player or a team that really stands out for you?
Absolutely. At Willie Keys, we had a youngster by the name of Dejavi Shepherd. Yeah, he wasn't 14 and he wanted to play for Willie Keys. And I told him, you can't play based on the ABFA rules. You can't play until you become 14. He cried, and I told him, don't worry, it's only a year away. And trust me, that youngster played for Antigua, all the different youth teams for Antigua, 13, 15,
wow. 17,
19, and now he's with the national team.
Wow,
so he's really a baller.
Yeah.
They call him police. And he was so small, but you can see
he had a lion in him. He was big inside.
Yeah, he's a lion.
Yep.
Even up to now, I think he plays for Jennings. No, so he's really a good player.
Amazing. So Bertrand, as a coach, what are your long-term goals?
For me, I just want to see the children that I coach go up to be responsible adults, to be good citizens. I want them to marry their academics with their football and to be complete.
Right. And how do you see yourself contributing to the growth of football in the community? You say you're Five Islands now.
Well, I think for me, I've been playing football as a youngster. I've been coached by a lot of coaches, the Bikers, the Emma, the Danny Livingston, the Ramos. And so I've learned a lot, and I just want to give back, and I want to see Five Islands go from strength to strength, because I always think that the youngsters are going to be the adults of tomorrow, and so we need to have them have the basics or the right techniques, so as they grow, they become better players, and the community will benefit in the long run.
Of course.
Well, so I see, let me tell you something. You have music to my ears. You meet people, and then sometimes you hear they say stuff, and a lot of it might be technical, a lot of it might be, just who they are. But you, as you say, you are marrying the both of them, and you know what I mean. I have no reservations, as we have to look out for Five Islands FC. Under the tutelage of Sawasi, right? The grassroots, and as I said, grassroots. So that's the most important part, right? That is the bringing together of everything. So all your knowledge and all your experiences are coming there. So guys, thank you so much, Sawasi. We're gonna look out and keep looking out for Five Islands FC and Sawasi and all the great work he's doing there and the knowledge he's gonna impart. Thank you so much for being on the GN Sports Show.
Thank you, guys.
And
thank you for having me.
We're definitely gonna keep the record. We're going to keep looking at that and looking at you. All right?
Thank you.
So we'll be right back with Dr. Rick. Stay tuned.
We would like to thank the sponsors of Generation Next: Fruta, Antigua Masonry Products, Kenneth A. Gomez Insurance Agency, Island Photo, and Francis Trading Agency. And welcome back to the GN Sports Show. Today we are having a special segment, Ask Dr. Rick.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, Dr.
Nice
Rick?
seeing you again.
How you going, Doc?
You too. I saw you last week.
It's nice
too. I
seeing
didn't
me.
see. Where the hell were you?
Unfortunately, had some family circumstances, but we're back this week.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good
of
to
course.
see you.
And this week we'll be talking about the good, bad, and ugly of body-water balance, right?
Yeah, that's right. Remember,
Correct.
we've been talking about the good, bad, and
The
ugly.
good, bad,
about
and
a lot
ugly.
of them.
Yep.
Yes.
We went with carbohydrates one week.
Yeah.
Then
Went
we
with protein and fats.
Protein, and now we got water.
Yep.
Wow, people won't believe that there's the good, bad, and ugly even in water.
Right.
Yeah, water balance.
I'm
Hydration
sure
for
they. I'm sure they didn't.
Yes, of course.
Okay, how many people here? How many people? There's 3 of us. How many people here are thirsty right now?
Me?
Well,
I-
raise your hand.
I
nobody
can
see
have
that.
a drink. I can have a drink. I'm not thirsty, but you know what I
Oh
mean.
no! If you're
I
not
can have a
thirsty,
sip. Yep.
but he's dehydrated.
I'm thirsty, yes.
That's how sensitive our brain is. There's a part of your brain called the hypothalamus. And that hypothalamus has a thirst center in it.
Wow.
And believe it or not, if you're thirsty, you're dehydrated. It's time to drink.
Wow.
So what we want to do is we want to teach people, especially children, right, to hydrate. So how do we do that?
Right.
Well, number one, we tell them pay attention to your thirst. If you're thirsty, drink. And before sports, especially in hot environments like we have here and really intense sports, they should drink before they start, right?
Yes.
Keep them from getting thirsty.
Yeah.
But then when they start exercising, when they start doing their sport, playing, competing, they're going to be thirsty and they're going to forget because
Right.
they're in the heat of battle, you know?
Yes.
And kids are going to forget. So we have to remind them, and they should all have their drink bottle with them and teach them how to drink little by little.
I was just going to say that because a lot of times I know we have the problem of over drinking. Right?
Oh,
Of drinking
that's
too much.
the ugly. Oh,
That's
wait,
the- yeah.
now you jumped ahead.
Yeah.
Right? So the good.
The head. I jumped
You
ahead.
jumped way ahead. We'll get to the ugly in a few minutes. But the good about water is, of course, that if we stay hydrated, it's going to help with our cognitive, our brain function. And brain function is a very important part of sports, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
You got to be into it. You got to be alert. You have to be mindful of your skills, of your body balance and
Yep,
all of that,
yep,
and your
yep.
center of gravity and all those kind of things, you know, when you're doing any kind of skill. So cognitive is very important. Your brain function is very important. But muscles, if muscles get dehydrated, you think they're going to contract with the proper force? You think you're going to be able to synchronize those muscles the way they need to be synchronized to kick that ball, to shoot that basket like
No
I'm
way.
going to do tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock at JSC? No. Okay? You're not going to be able to do all of that. So the getting dehydrated, being thirsty, is your indication that you're not going to, you know, use your muscles optimally.
Right.
And-
But is there, sorry to interject, Walker, is there a thirsty and a thirsty? Because you know sometimes you're thirsty, but is it a thirsty where I can take a little sip and I'm
Well-
good, or is it a thirsty where I need a couple gulps or stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could be thirsty for a lot of reasons. You could have just eaten a lot of salty food
Right,
and be
right.
thirsty. That doesn't necessarily mean you're dehydrated.
Right,
So
okay.
you have to be mindful of the context.
Yep.
And the context we're talking about is when you're in the middle of sports and you're sweating and it's hot and you're thirsty.
Yeah,
That's a little
yeah.
bit different.
Well, Dr. Rick, let me ask you this. I know a lot of times, especially in sports, you'd have players who might, you know, we get a little break. The coach might say, oh, go and have a water break. They go and drink water. They drink too much, then they come back and have a stitch. Is there a certain amount of water that they should be drinking in between their
Yes,
activities?
they should be sipping enough to to not be thirsty. Right. You know, that's the indication. If it takes away your thirst, then it's good. If it took away your thirst and now you're still drinking, you're over drinking, now we're into the ugly.
What causes a stitch though?
It's a good question.
Yeah, because I've always thought about it. Like you take, you know, to me, you know, I didn't drink that much, right? I just took 2 gulps. I'm still thirsty, but you know, I took 2 gulps. Now I'm feeling this stitch.
Yeah, most of the time it's a gas pain. It's something. So, for example, there's something called osmolarity of the food you eat or the beverage you're drinking. Osmolarity is the number of particles dissolved in the water.
Very simple. Can you imagine that? Number of
I can imagine
particles
that. I can imagine
dissolved in
also
water.
calling you Dictionary Doc because he always throws out some words
well,
and I
okay.
have to like hit Google one time.
Build your vocabulary. Everybody go look up osmolarity.
Osmolarity.
By the way, if you kids are taking science in school, you better know it. Anyway, osmolarity is the number of particles, dissolved in the water. The more particles, the higher the osmolarity.
Okay.
So
okay.
our blood and our body fluids have a certain osmolarity around 285, a little bit less than 300 units. Okay, the units are milliosmoles per liter, but we don't care about that. Let's just call it number of 300 units.
Right.
Okay? So now, let's say you're drinking Coke to hydrate yourself. How about Mountain Dew?
Yeah, worse.
Okay? Well, in some respects, it is worse. Mountain Dew, Coke, even Gatorade. The older preparations of Gatorade is getting better. But the older preparations, the original preparations of Gatorade were also high osmolarity. So when you take these in, those extra particles draw water, okay? And they can upset your stomach.
Okay.
They can delay your stomach emptying. They can delay your intestinal movements that you need
Wow.
to be going on, right? Especially if you ate before you worked out, if
Right.
you ate before your competition, you still have to digest a little bit of that food. So those kind of things you're talking about, a stitch, is mostly pain from that discomfort of not hydrating properly with the proper beverage. Okay?
And having too
High
much osmolarity.
Too much osmolarity. And
Too much osmolarity.
so what osmolarity should it be? Like I said, around a little bit less than 200. 200 to 250 is ideal.
Right.
Right? How about Red Bull? You heard of Red Bull?
I heard of Red Bull.
Right. So some people, when they work out, they drink these Red Bulls because they have caffeine in them.
Yeah.
So what does caffeine do? Well, caffeine makes you more alert, is a stimulant to your brain, so you'll be more alert, and that's good. Caffeine also causes release of calcium from muscle. It's calcium in muscle that gives us that force. Right? So it actually improves force. In fact, most Olympic weightlifters will drink caffeine, take in a big, strong espresso, right?
Wow.
Before they lift, before they even exercise, because they create more force, therefore they can lift more weight.
Their muscle would be more.
While they're
yeah.
exercising, while they're even practicing, and that gets them to a higher level faster.
Didn't know that.
They get the idea.
Interesting.
Didn't know that at all.
So caffeine in your beverages is a good idea. Not necessarily for kids, but
Right.
a little bit probably is not going to hurt them. So Red Bull is full of caffeine. That's
Yeah.
what makes everybody
taurine.
so high. And taurine, that's another one. But taurine's in a lot of good drinks too, as long as it's not too much.
Right.
Taurine is an antioxidant. So
Wow.
there's something called metabolic stress, called oxidative stress, that your body undergoes during intense sports, intense exercise. And taurine is one of those things that acts as an antioxidant, like vitamin C, vitamin B, right? Vitamin E. So these vitamins that are put in these drinks, that's a good idea because they fight that metabolic stress. So the problem with Red Bull is its osmolarity.
There you go.
Osmolarity is double that of the body fluids. It's about 600.
Wow.
So that's where you're really going to get a stitch. The good thing about Red Bull is it only comes in small little cans.
No, they don't.
Oh, no?
They started to
Oh,
make
my
Red
God.
Bull
Quartz?
quartz. They started
Oh
to make
my
Red
God,
Bull
okay.
quartz, man. Yeah.
People, stay away from it. Okay?
From the large amounts.
The
We don't
large
want Red
amounts,
Bull
yeah, a
coming
little
to the
bit,
GN
a little
Sport
bit,
too.
yeah, a little bit.
The large amounts at one
Large
sitting.
amounts in one sitting.
Yeah.
So, Dr.
But-
Rick, we were speaking a little bit about Gatorade, and obviously Gatorade has something I think they call electrolytes.
Well, that's where the osmolarity comes from. So
okay.
also having the right balance of electrolytes. So for example, sodium.
Yeah.
Most of the osmolarity in our body fluids and in these drinks comes from the sodium. So what does sodium do? Well, sodium actually helps us hydrate because it holds water
Yeah.
in
Okay.
the body
Yes.
fluids.
Yes.
right? So when there's the proper amount of sodium, not too much. I told you, if there's too much sodium in your gastrointestinal tract when you're, ingesting this, what's it going to do? That's where your stitch might come from.
Yes. Oh, so you remember what we spoke about?
I do.
That's good to know you remembered.
Well, it's good because I took my caffeine and my taurine. I had a Red Bull just before I sat here. Why do you think I have so much energy?
Exactly.
Right? Anyway, the osmolarity is very high in Red Bull, and the caffeine is good, right? But those large amounts is bad, okay? Because what we want is we want to have an osmolarity about, as I told you, 200 to 250.
Right.
There are some that are at 150 is good. So the lower the osmolarity, the faster you're going to hydrate.
You're going to hydrate, right.
Okay? But what about water? What's the osmolarity of water? Science question. Have you been following?
You know that, John.
Well, what's the osmolarity
You know
of
that
water?
answer. Remember we spoke about it?
Does water have any of those
Osmolarity
particles? Does
particles.
it have sodium? Does water have sodium? Does water have potassium? Oh, that's another thing. Potassium, you need a little potassium. It helps protect you against cramps.
Yes.
Muscle cramps.
Yep.
So does magnesium. Magnesium works to get you battery juice. It works to activate your ATP. You heard of ATP inside the cells? That's your battery juice in your cells.
Okay.
ATP.
Yeah. ATP.
I'm not talking about STP like you put in your gas tank. I'm talking about ATP.
I went to school with ATP. What's up, ATP?
Anyway, that ATP is going to be activated by the magnesium. So you need some magnesium. You need chloride, right? All those things are, those electrolytes that you're talking about in balance are very good. So do you think water has any of those particles like electrolytes we've been talking about?
I think they do.
You think they do? What about you?
I think they do.
I think they have some.
Yeah, no, they don't have any.
Wow.
But when they
So the osmolarity of water is 0.
But when they purify the water, don't they use some of these things,
No,
the
they take it
chlorine
out.
and stuff like that, to purify
No,
the water?
they take it out. They take them out. So water basically has an osmolarity of 0. Now tap water, the stuff that nobody wants to drink tap water anymore. But if you have one of those filters,
Right.
it's okay. It's a lot cheaper than bottled water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I wish? I wish that back about 50, 60 years ago, I would have developed a company to bottle water. Nobody would have bought it then because everybody was drinking their
Tap water.
right? And nobody died. Nobody really died from it.
Yep.
But now, what?
Everybody's
You
on.
realize how expensive water is?
But a lot of people have done researches and show that tap water has actually less chlorine and acid than bottled water,
Purified ones, right?
than purified water. They did the acid test and stuff like that, and it showed. It was
Yeah,
shocking
sometimes, yeah,
that some of these expensive water that we gravitate
Depends.
to have more pH
Yeah. It's,
than regular.
right. It depends how they're purified.
Right.
And another thing, there's an interesting fad now. It's called alkaline water.
Alkaline, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
alkaline water is used to fight oxidative stress or that metabolic stress I was talking about. Right? However, there's some good research to say it's good. But if you go on Amazon or you go somewhere and you buy alkaline water, that alkaline water has to be alkalinized in a certain way with an electrolyzer. You actually have to make it yourself to get the benefit from it.
Right.
And these electrolyzers are not expensive. You can buy
They're
them.
not expensive?
No,
No, these ionizers are like $5,000 US.
No, less than $100. You can buy it, but you have to drink the water right away. So now they put that alkaline water in bottles and in cans,
And it loses it.
but they don't tell anybody.
Wow.
You see? And so it's a scam. People
You
are,
see the okie doke, guys.
but the alkaline water is beneficial when it has a lot of free hydrogen in it. The only way you can get free hydrogen
Is immediately.
is immediately you have to electrolyze it. But people who create the alkaline water by other methods, like putting baking soda will alkalinize the water.
Right, yeah.
No benefit. I mean, very little benefit. I can't say none, but very little benefit.
Even if you drink it immediately? Like if you put baking soda in a glass?
Right, because it doesn't have that free hydrogen in it. You got to electrolyze it to raise the pH to create more alkaline.
Okay.
You see? But that's the story behind water. So water you got to be kind of careful with.
Right.
But let's go back to water with 0 osmolarity, right? That's the ugly. That's when you overdrink too much water. Okay, a little water is fine. You can even sip water, and it's okay. However, if you're really doing intense exercise where you're losing a lot of electrolytes, you know, you're going to tend to overuse the water and not replace the electrolytes, and then you're going to
you can dilute the electrolytes that you already have in your body.
Exactly. It's called hyponatremia. Wow. Now, in severe cases of hyponatremia,
You guys saw another word come in there, right?
people get hyponatremia refers to sodium. Na is the symbol, the chemical symbol for sodium.
I remember that.
Okay, really?
Yeah, I did that. I did that once.
Okay, good. Sodium, and so natremia refers to sodium in the blood. Hypo means low. So you do just what you said. You know, you sure you didn't go to medical school?
I did, you know. I was.
Oh, you?
I delivered my own son, so I am a doctor by right.
Okay, you'll have to tell me about that sometime. That must have been an experience.
It was.
I wish I were there.
It was. It had a lot of what is that?
Hyponatremia?
Hyponatremia involved in it.
Anyway, the water will dilute it out, okay? And now that can induce seizures.
Wow.
Somebody, you know,
That's scary now.
overdoes the pure water.
Right.
So that's why you want to teach people how to, you know, sip electrolytes, properly balanced, okay? And we just talked about all of that. Now, how about how much they should use? So people who are really into intense exercise should weigh themselves before and after they are engaged in their activities. And the guideline is 2% of your body weight. If you lose more than 2% of your body weight, okay, remember any math? You guys don't remember any math? 2% of 100 pounds is how much?
There's just that amount right there. Just
2
that
pounds.
amount.
Exactly, you're right, 2 pounds.
But that's
so
true.
if you lose more than 2 pounds, then you really have to pay attention to your hydration. Means you didn't hydrate enough during that exercise.
Wow.
So you shouldn't lose more than 2 pounds if you're 100 pounds, and 4 pounds if you're 200 pounds, and 3 pounds if you're 150 pounds. You get the idea.
But you know, that's something that is very important, because I think we as people, when we go to exercise, our goal is to lose as many pounds as possible.
Yes.
So if you go and you lose more than 2 pounds, you're like, yes, not knowing it's harming your body.
There you go.
So would you say that you're dehydrated at that point?
Yeah.
Exactly, you're dehydrated. So now you have to really pay attention to rehydrating yourself.
And that's even if you're not thirsty.
Yes.
You're dehydrated.
Exactly. Because you may not be. If you're really tired, your hypothalamus may be overridden by other signals. You may fall asleep, and you say, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm going to
Then you're going to say you're tired because of the intense workout.
You ignore your thirst.
Let me ask you a question about water first.
Yes.
Like, okay, like our footballers, we out there, we playing football, and the sun is hot and stuff like that. Is it right to drink cold water or like room temperature water? Because you know they grab cold water and they drink it. Is it good, or is it better just to drink room temperature water?
It depends on the context. So, for example, it depends how hot the person is. If their body temperature is raised a little bit, it'll cool them down a little bit. It really doesn't make much difference.
Okay.
As long, if they drink cold water, it will be warmed up by their body temperature as it comes down.
I got you.
But there are a lot of people, and again, maybe we should look into this research. I don't know about the research on it, but I don't think the research shows that it makes any difference. But there are people who swear by it. I know here in Antigua, oh my God, I have so many people who say, Dr. Rick, you're drinking cold water during your exercise, because I love, I drink cold water, cold Gatorade even. And tomorrow morning when I'm playing ball, I'm going to be drinking cold Gator. They say, and people I play with, they say, you shouldn't be drinking cold water, because they think they're the doctors, you see.
Right.
And they're telling me you shouldn't be drinking cold Gatorade. And I say, yeah, it's okay.
I got this.
But I got this, right? But they're convinced.
Yeah.
Probably based on things their grandmother told them. Mm-hmm. And grandma sometimes is right. Of course. So I can't really.
Yeah.
I do not want to get into trouble with the grandmothers. But we have to look into the research on that. Yeah. But I think there's popular wisdom from grandmothers and mothers and just our general thoughts.
Okay.
That, well, it might be better to have room temperature water. But of course, room temperature water, if you're out playing in the heat, is warm water.
Right.
Right? It's 80 degrees.
Yeah, thank you again, Dr. Rick. We really
Thank you, Dr.
appreciate
Rick.
it. And until next time, GN Sports Show.
Sports Show.
Coming next on the GN Sports Show, join us at the round table as we speak with cricket legends Courtney Walsh and Sir Curtly Ambrose. You do not want to miss this one. So be sure to join us next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on the GN Sports Show.
Athletes chasing every dream, in every game there's a story to tell. GN Sports Show, we know them well. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow making waves today. From ages 5 and up we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. Show. Interviews where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow making waves today. From ages 5 and up we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow making waves today. From ages 5 and up we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show.